Hi guys, Finch here, and I'm joined by Karl Morris for this last video in the Lost Art of Putting series, and we're going to be talking about putt design and pre-shot routine.
It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling.
Guys, make sure that you like the video and comment below, pick my putter, for a chance to win a copy of the book which Karl has kindly donated. If you wish to binge watch this series, you can click the link below or go into the description where the playlist is available. So we're going to have a little bit of a talk through about what putter design is going to be best for you, but first let's have a little bit of a chat through about pre-shot routine. And pre-shot routine is something that now pretty much every golfer is familiar with. You know, it's been talked about a lot, but I really like your very quick insight onto this, but then also maybe what some of the best players in the world that you've worked with, some of the variations that they might have and some of the differences that they have.
Yeah. I think the key thing straight away is to understand that a pre-shot routine should be like the golf swing in the sense that it's very individual. Mm-hmm. The best way to look at it though is that every putt that you ever hit is a unique creation. Okay. Right? You've never had this putt before and you're never going to have it again. Ooh, wow. Ever, right? And every putt that you've got has three parts to it. There's what you think before you hit the putt, there's the hitting of the putt, and then there's the reaction to it. Now the only thing that you've got any control over really is the first bit and the third bit. Yep. The middle bit, when the ball meets the club, there's a whole bunch of things that take over that determine whether it goes in or not, that are not 100% down to you. So actually my view on it is that if you go out with the idea that you're going to execute as good a pre-shot routine as you can, you're going to work on, we've talked about in previous videos, you're going to talk about, you're going to work on your reactions so they're a little bit more supportive of your story rather than detrimental. Mm-hmm. You're actually focusing on the two bits that you have 100% control over. Okay? And when you do that, actually, you're creating the conditions for the middle bit to be as good as possible. So, you know, you mentioned about players over the years. You know, one of the players that I've worked with for a long time, Graham McDowell, who won the US Open. You know, he was always a real big fan of, with his putting, what he would do. He'd actually go through his pre-shot routine, and then before he stepped into the putt, he'd focus on releasing his breath. Okay. Now, what sounds a trite thing to do, there was a lot of bang to the book of that really, in the sense that when he released the breath, he said to himself he'd done all he could. Right, he programmed the computer. He was kind of saying to himself, I've done all I can for this putt now. As I release the breath, he was just letting himself go. Just letting himself go. Now, the nice byproduct of that, if you think about it, if you focus on your breath and you release it, there's a physiological response to that. You're going to be potentially a little bit more relaxed. The feel element comes into it. What most golfers do is the opposite of that. They're walking into it and they stop breathing. Yeah. which is never a good technique for anything really. So the other one I think that's interesting is practice strokes as well. I think some players tend to have the practice stroke at the side of the ball here. One thing I would ask the viewers to play around with is when you have your practice stroke, do you feel actually better looking at the putt with what I call two eyes? You're actually looking down the line. You know, Darren Clark was an exponent of this. You know, he'd actually have his practice strokes here, stood behind the ball, looking down the line. For a lot of players, what that does is confirm the line. When you stand to the side, you can potentially get a different view, a distorted version of the line. Right, I like that. It's going to be it's going to be golf courses full of people just getting to the putts now going, and then I release myself. I release myself to fate. Right, no, that was really, really cool. So guys, we're just going to have a quick look at putter designs and what might work for you as well. So when choosing a putter, there's a few different things that you need to bear in mind. Now I'm going to split this into the sections of the grip, the length, the lie of the club, and also the club head design. But let's start at the grip. Now, a lot of players recently have started to favour a much thicker grip
on the end of the handle. Now, some people feel that that takes a little bit of control away from their hands, that they can control the stroke a little bit more with the body, which is absolutely fine. But this is so much down to individual preference. I play a quite large grip on my putter because I like the feeling that I don't have to use my hands too much. But experiment around with this part of the club. Some people might prefer a much thinner grip than they otherwise might be trying. Now, the second thing to bear in mind is the overall length of the putter. Now, don't just go into a shop, buy a 34-inch or 35-inch and think that's going to be suited for you. Try and get yourself fit. If you can't go to a custom fitter for your putter, there are online resources available to give you a rough idea about what you're looking for. Because the overall length of the shaft will help determine your posture, but it's also going to help determine the lie angle on the putter. Now, the lie angle on the putter is interlinked with the length. However, that is something that I would 100% recommend going to get fit for. And the last thing that we're going to come to is club head design. Now, the most important thing about club head design is that you can square this blade up to your target line consistently at the point of impact. Now, in that regard, it doesn't matter what the head design is. It depends what that looks like to your eye and how easy it is to line up. However, there are considerations to make when starting to choose head design. Now, this is quite a classic blade design. It's a Bettinardi putter, but it's really modelled on that classic Ping answer. Now, the reason that this putter works for many people is because it's very simple, it's got very, very clean lines. However, because of the MOI on this putter is a little bit lower than some of the other models we're going to look at, it is less resistant to twisting. So if you hit it out the toe or out the heel, that moment of inertia will be less on this putter. That means the amount of energy transferred into your ball might not be as high as with some of the other clubs, which means many putts may end up short or rolling offline. So if you are a player that doesn't hit the center of the club that often, this might not be the best design for you. Now, this is the putter that I am currently using. Now, this is more of a mallet-headed design, higher moment of inertia, but critically for me, I find this easier to line up because of the alignment aid on the back of the putter. So this is a bit of a dual bonus for me. I find this putter easier to line up and it is more forgiving. So on those off-center strikes, it will actually find the pace a little bit easier. And lastly, this beast. So this is the Cure RX4. Now, this has the highest MOI of any putter out there on the market. So if you hit this heel or toe, it really doesn't make a massive difference. You're still going to get a very good transfer of energy. Yes, it's big. However, I would recommend a lot of golfers, probably more than you might expect, to actually use a very high MOI putter. At the end of the day, pace is more important than line because of the width of the hole, because of the size of the ball. So if you can transfer that energy more effectively, more consistently, and if you are striking it off center, then a super high MOI putter may do the job for you. Also, the variation in this club is that shaft going into the center of the club head rather than the heel. Again, those types of things are very much down to personal preference. Right, all done, Carl. Once again,
really enjoyed the whole series.
Honestly, that was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And guys, hopefully you've enjoyed all these videos as well. Make sure you show Carl some love, buy the book, but also go into the description below, follow me on my social media and myself. If you do want to watch all the videos all in one time and you haven't already, make sure you click the link above or go into the description where that playlist is available. I've really enjoyed filming this series, Carl. It's been great to spend this time with you as well. Hopefully you guys have, found something useful from this. And remember, you might not be able to ever hit it like Rory, but you can become an amazing putter. And if these videos have helped and if the book helps as well, then that's absolutely fantastic news. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you Stockport for having us down and letting us use the facility. The green's been in fantastic condition, as is the course. If you are ever in the area, make sure that you check it out. And we will see you down here next time.